Aerodrome Finance price update. Why most people are not ready for what is about to happen. My name is mikemadz. Let's start this video. Before I start the video, as always, show me that you're still around. Did you survive this chop here? Every like matters, every comment matters, every single type of engagement is super important. The more people engage, the better for the video, the better for our project, the better for the entire community. And also, if you want to be a successful trader here within just 14 days, check out my links in the description. With Target Research, we help you become a successful trader here in a short period of time. Stop gambling and start trading. All right, let's stop wasting time and let's jump straight into it here. Of course, today covering Aerodrome, and the main question right now is, can Aerodrome make new highs here? One of the most important questions. Why? Because of course, while we had this massive pump here from this bottom, most people, the reality is, are still at break even or even at a small loss here. This is why the most question I actually get right now, can Aerodrome make new highs or not here? Of course, also covering if we are in this season here that most people think we are in, then of course it makes sense to take a look at other base projects here with, again, massive upside potential. Having one or two new projects here that are never covered on my channel here. Is it time for Aerodrome price prediction and taking a look at the charts here? Where to take a look at here in the next couple days and weeks? And of course, do this right now. I think one mistake most people are doing right now here, unfortunately, and which can lead them to get absolutely wrecked here. And of course, can Aerodrome make new highs here? Before answering the question, let's take a look at a brief look here at the metrics of Aerodrome and actually also the entire base ecosystem. As you can see here, of course, also TVL wise and metric wise here, we had a nice bounce here. This bounce was super important in my personal opinion because it closed this gap here for this possibility to reach much lower prices here. This bounce was essential, but again, the most important question right now is this simply a lower high, a bear market rally, a relief rally, or is this actually the start of something much more substantial here? Of course, nothing has changed here. Aerodrome, number one, liquidity hub of base. Just like I always say, the best risk to reward play on base is just simply Aerodrome, especially if you're dealing with real size here, if you have a big portfolio. Taking a look at that, Aerodrome TVL, of course, while we had this pump, TVL is nowhere near the all-time highs yet, but on the positive side here, of course, we are back to early 2025 levels. But as you can see here, we still have lots of room to grow here. And also here, you needed to make your mission in the next couple of weeks and months to identify if this is simply a lower high or this can be sustainable here. And we can push to this new numbers here, high numbers in the next couple of weeks and months. Okay, now taking a look at the price of Aerodrome, and I want to cover this one more time because it is essential here, and you should have this on your radar here, on your main radar, if you are invested into Aerodrome. As you can see here, price wise, of course, we had this double bottom here, this double top with a slightly higher top here for Aerodrome. And as you can see here, despite this massive bounce here, no question about it, in the last couple of weeks, basically, we are nowhere near the all-time highs yet. And again, you need to make it your mission. And of course, I will cover that here on this channel to identify as fast as possible if this is a sustainable thing or not here. Now, price-wise, we are nowhere near the all-time highs. And also market cap-wise, it paints a completely different picture here. This is Aerodrome in market cap, and as you can see here, the first peak to the second is a big difference here. Why? Because the tokens in circulation are much higher here than they were earlier here in the cycle. And of course, this actually gets worse over time here. And this is why time is essential here, especially for Aerodrome, as the more time passes, more tokens are going to be in circulation, the more liquidity is needed here to reach those highs here again here. Now, this sounds super bearish, but is this realistic here? As you can see here, the chart says that for you. But on the flip side, something changed for Aerodrome. I covered it briefly, and this is essential here for Aerodrome, especially in order to reach new all-time highs. This is super important. This mechanic is actually needed here. And as you can see here, as part of his long-term commitment to driving sustainable growth, because again here, this is needed in my personal opinion for Aerodrome success here, PGF has acquired over $1 million here in Aero. So the buybacks and locks are actually super important to reduce this active supply and are important here to reach those price predictions that we always have in mind. So we are going to keep an eye on this, super important, but also you have to be aware that time is very essential here. The longer it takes, the harder it's going to get here for Aerodrome to reach new all-time highs. But also saying that, Aerodrome is very, very small in the grand scheme of things here, especially comparing it to TradFi here. This thing can do a 10x. And why am I saying that? Because in bull markets, none of these things matter. Inflation doesn't matter. All of those things barely matter here in bull markets, because when mania is around, when retail is around, when liquidity is around, all those things can go to the absolute moon here. But for that to happen, those circumstances, actually, those scenarios need to be, or those metrics need to be in place for that to happen. And right now, it is not there yet. Retail is not back, okay? Liquidity is rising here in M2, but we don't have any substantial money printing here in the US, which is very, very crucial here in the crypto space, okay? Just having covered that. Now, before we get back to the Aerodrome, I want to cover other base projects with massive upside potential. Why am I saying that? Because if we are actually on the road to this alt season, which most people are screaming for, then of course you have to, or it makes sense to diversify your base portfolio for tokens here that actually have more upside potential than Aerodrome. Of course, some projects I already covered on my channel here, just to have it a brief conclusion of those. PEG, POC, building non-stop here. Doesn't matter where price is at, doesn't matter where sentiment is at. The token can be down 100%. The team is building, and also the product makes sense here. It is massively undervalued for what it's doing here. Options trading, gamified, actually a working system, a working product here. You can trade options here in a fun, engaging way here. On base, this thing is massively undervalued. I don't care what anyone says. Toshi here, something new here I never covered before. Toshi is a meme play. Okay, some people are not fans of memes, but memes will matter no matter what here, in my personal opinion. Memes are memes, they're fun, they're a gamble, and more importantly, memes have this community vibe here, which is super, super crucial here, because having strong holders and having people jumping back in as soon as the market is back bullish is important here. And as you can see here, Toshi with over $300 million in market cap, and price action wise, it is very, very strong here. The chart is looking actually very impressive. Toshi, in my personal opinion, can be in the billions if, of course, those background metrics, liquidity, market sentiment, consumer spending, etc., all of the things, or consumer sentiment fall in the right place, then of course Toshi can be in the billions here if we get this alt season. Any base, undervalued in my personal opinion. Base on DEX on base here, also with the partnership of B3 here, which is massively being slept on. This also have massive upside potential, and just going back to the all-time high is already a sustainable gain. And also another new project here, True Market. This is simply the poly market here of base, and actually, as you can see, it's below 5 million market cap. So if base has real ground, and if this prediction market makes sense in the crypto space, which poly market proves that it has, this thing can also go to much, much higher levels. So just a quick summary here, and of course I'm very bullish on other projects, and I will keep covering them on my channel, but for this video here I would focus on those projects here, and of course also Ample, very, very bullish on Ample. But yeah, if the market is bullish, if we get this alt season, it makes sense to diversify your base portfolio. Now, taking a look at the price prediction in the chart of Aerodrome, as you can see here, the $75 level or cent level here was very, very crucial. Why? Because we had multiple rejections here, and as you can see here, at this current space and at this current place here, we held it as support. Also, there's a Fibonacci level here that actually falls right at those levels. So holding it as support is a good first start. And just like last time here, just like the last time, you need to take it step by step with Aerodrome. Let's go above $1 first. Let's hold $1 as support. Again, $1 is this psychological marker people like to use to take profit or to jump back in. And then from $1, we have to see day by day, basically, is this a lower high or is this sustainable? Okay, now, ending off this video here. Do this right now. Very, very crucial. Why am I saying this? Because right now the sentiment is back to close to extremes. Understandable, guys. Last month, most people thought it's over. Some people held. Of course, those people right now are absolutely euphoric because they found the strength here to hold, making them even more euphoric at this current stage, despite the fact here that prices are not back at all-time highs, which is fine, absolutely understandable in the charts, and also Bitcoin is looking absolutely great here at this spot. But right now, in my personal opinion, you need to set a goal, you need to set a plan as we speak, or you will get absolutely wrecked here if this thing actually goes south pretty fast. A goal without a plan is just simply a wish, and wishes in crypto space, they don't belong there. Okay, so start securing profits. If you're already in profits, in my personal opinion, not financial advice, it makes sense to secure profits, because in the worst case, if this is simply a lower high, you at least have some profits here on the table. And even if we get rejected here, you can buy back lower. Now, if this is the mania phase and all of a sudden the market explodes from here, then you still have a bag here. I'm not saying that you're going to sell your entire position, but securing profit makes sense. Have a plan. Very, very important. Most people are just riding it here. If you have a small bag, that's fine. Just ride it here, leave it for years, see what happens, okay? But most people are not gonna be successful with that. Have a plan, set a plan for it. Very, very important. Have targets here you're gonna take profits in. Have targets in validation levels. If the price drops lower than that, you should be out of the market, okay? And the most important thing, in my personal opinion, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Yeah, and this is, in the last recent weeks, actually was the best case here. Optimism won, okay? Being optimistic is usually a good strategy, but preparing for the worst is very, very crucial here. And this is, in my personal opinion, something you need to be doing right now here. Most people at this current time are only focusing on one thing. They're looking at the all-time highs, at the charts, prior all-time highs, and they're looking or calculating their profits if the market goes back there, okay? Now, before we end the video here, the market is a pendulum that swings from massive negativity here that isn't sustainable to massive optimism that also is not sustainable. And in my personal opinion, if we are getting here in this alt season mania phase of the cycle, in the last wave of the cycle, this pendulum will swing to one crazy extreme where most people think that we're never ever gonna dip again. And this is the way here, or this is your sign to get out of the markets. Once that happens, I just want to say it right now, because this phase usually happens pretty fast. And of course, I will cover it on my channel here in the next steps, what to do here in the next couple of days and weeks, okay? At the end of the day, guys, be bullish on yourself. That yields the most returns. Do your own research. Super, super important. Most important thing is, don't get wrecked.
Giving up from blue tops like Mars Simpson, just hard discipline, pot simmering, cooking up, no rocks in the pan, watching the plan form in the sand, bidding castles out of thoughts in our head, late nights, no sleep in my bed, trying to see my dreams manifest. Look at that, now look at that.